It's being recorded. So again, welcome everybody. We are gonna have an awesome kickoff for the Services Network. But before we go into full details, we gotta talk about a little bit about why and what is the Services Network. I understand that everybody that's here, some of you are new. So welcome to these meetings. But these are basically focused on allowing us service providers to connect and support one another. It is not a PD, so there's no document that you have to fill out anyways, but there's none that you have to fill out for this session unless is required by your coordinator. But this is your time to come, bring any topic, because today we'll have some time for you to share one-on-one with another service provider. For those that we got to see, that has been a couple weeks, right? During the workshop in person, you got to hear a little bit of updates from me and Benjamin. And we have put all the link that we used that day on the slides. The slides can be found on the app. And if you don't have the app yet, we'll talk about it at the end, depending on how much time we have. But the slides will also be emailed to you if you haven't had a chance to get those yet. For our agenda, we, as you may remember, there are a few things that have changed. We have now added not only a celebration talk time, which today is going to be from Grand Island, and we'll get to that, but we also have something called best practice, which it will be one of you sharing something that you do that you feel like it's best practice in your project. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the first thing since we have only 60 minutes. So let's take a moment and pause. And in the chat, please think about it, but let us know, how do you feel now in the beginning of the school year? How are things going? You can do it in one word, you can do it in a sentence, but how are you feeling? Let's feel the room. Okay, well, thank you all for sharing with this. I could tell you guys that I also feel so, right? The beginning of the school year, a lot of things are coming up. We're trying to plan new things. So I'm hoping that I can get that more excitement from you. I always appreciate, I've had a chance to meet with some of you one-on-one, so that always fills my cup. That's been awesome. But we will go ahead and shift to our first part of today, which is the celebration talk. And we're gonna have Elda Martinez is gonna be our guest for the day. She'll kick us off, and I will put on the screen her, and we'll go ahead and get started. But Elda, please unmute yourself. And as I change the screen and stuff, tell us who you are, tell us about yourself, and we'll start that way.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Elda Martinez Cruz. I am in the Grand Island area, and then I am in the GIPS district. I originally am from Mexico, Oaxaca, Mexico. And it was just so nice to see all of you in person. I know I didn't get to chat with all of you, but it was so nice just to see everyone in person. And yeah, I'm just kind of ready to start a new year. Obviously, I'm pretty busy. I know everyone is. So, what happened? Oh, caught me off guard there. So, like, what
Sorry,
happened?
we gotta put you in the classroom. We gotta put you in the front.
Oh,
Keep
okay.
going.
Oh my gosh. Okay. This makes me more nervous. No, just kidding. So yeah, I work with school readiness and OSYs. I'm just kind of starting with my school readiness students. This week I have 2 home visits, so I'm excited. I love working with little ones. They always pass on the good energy. Yeah, what was the other question? I already forgot.
No, that's a great start. That's a great start. So tell us, how long have you been with the migrant program here in Grand Island?
So next week will be a year. Started September 20th of last year. So I'll be a year next week.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you feel after a year?
I think I've learned a lot, been through a lot with my coworkers and just everything, but it's it was a great year too. I think it was just a learning experience, learning year, and I was happy to work with the students I did, and here we go again with new ones. So
Cool. So since the workshop was kind of your first kind of meeting, right, with all or a lot of the service providers from the state, how did you feel meeting a lot of them? Did you get a chance to?
oh yeah. So do you mean the national?
Yeah, the one we had. Oh, the national talk. Yeah, talk to us about NASME
Well,
and also
I
about
guess
the workshop.
yeah. So I guess one of the questions was your proudest moment, and I think that was one of mine because I got to present with my coordinator, and then shout out to Maria Vasquez. I don't know if she's here. Can't see her, but we got to present at nationals. Um, it was nerve-wracking, but it was also exciting because it was somewhere else. And for those that got to go to San Antonio, was in Texas, it was just really nice to get away and to meet people from other states and to learn from what they're doing in their states. And so it was nice to connect with them.
That's awesome. And talk to us about the workshop. How'd you feel at the workshop, meeting your fellow MEP Nebraska?
It was really nice. Like I said, I got to see all of you, and I probably didn't get to talk to all of you, but it was just nice to see everyone in person. And I think it's nice to if I have to connect with you or if we ever come across, it's just nice. It was nice meeting all of you, and I was excited. I guess I got to learn a lot of what MEP it's all about, and it was really nice. So thank you, Cesar, and whoever, and Jerry Benjamin, whoever was there and provided that for us.
I'm glad you feel that way. I'm glad you feel that way. So now a year-ish, have you found that moment where you're like, this is the position for me?
Definitely. I have always wanted to work with families. At one point of my life, I was also migrant. My parents and all my family migrated from Mexico to here. I'm not sure if I was part of the migrant program. Probably not. It was a long time ago, but I can definitely relate to the students that I am now working with. And I've always wanted to be working with this population. And so I'm very grateful and blessed to be working with the families I am working with now. And so I've always wanted to work with little ones, families. I also work with out of school students, which is, it's exciting and challenging a little bit, but it's really nice to be, just working with them. So, yeah.
Can you, since you mentioned, can you share with us maybe a story that has been like challenging when you work with the micro families?
I guess talking about like out of school youth, I think that's been kind of my challenge. It wasn't really a challenge, but it was definitely hard to kind of get them back on track with school and try to find them services because they just kind of they're like, yeah, I don't want to talk to you anymore. But I think that would be one of the challenges I've come across. Once they're out of school, they just don't want to know anything more, anything about academics and stuff like that. But I think that's the exciting part. Just to kind of get them back on track with, moving on to their adult life, and just finding those resources that they really need. And so just making those connections, I think it's really important out in the community to get them back on track with their adult life. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
Can you share a story of success that maybe you've had with the family so far?
Yeah, so just working with my school readiness, they've all been through 8 sessions of school readiness. We did a little celebration at the end of the year last year. where we got to give out little, we gave them their little caps and their certifications. And I was so happy to see them. And then when I talked to their parents now they're moved on to either kindergarten or preschool. They just, they're really appreciative of the stuff we did or work with them through. They know their ABCs, they can sing their ABCs. So it's really rewarding to just come back and see all of the improvements they made throughout the year and how we work with them. And so really, really glad to come back to those families and see how they're settling and they're ready to move on. So it's just awesome.
That's cool. That's cool. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
So let's go on a little trip. Let's go back. In what ways do you feel that working as a service provider, serving OSY, and you also do school readiness, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you think that's helped you grow as a person and professionally?
Definitely. It has helped me see, well, personally, I think we just, with the home visits and everything, we just see what families are going through and just makes you feel, I say I'm really empathetic, but it really, like, you really see that because when you go into a family's home, it's like they're letting you and their, just their lives in general, their homes. And so I think it just made me realize of how much we are helping families. And even though sometimes we feel like we really might not be there at all or not there, but like when we're helping them, we really don't realize how much we are helping them until you like realize and they come back and talk to you and they're like, oh my gosh, you helped me through all this and that. So that's helped me grow professionally, how I just see and experience with families. And so when I come to work with another family, I've learned and I've experienced with just situations and stuff like that. So but yeah, it's been awesome.
Awesome. In your year-ish here, what has been the top moment, the moment that you are the most proud of?
Definitely just becoming part of MEP. Obviously presenting the nationals and here in our Grand Island area, we have done a lot of things. And I think Maria's here. She's been with me through all this. And so just everything that we've done, recruiting all the families we have, just everything in general that and there might be small things, but I'm really proud of the team and myself for doing all of that, working with our OSYs, getting them recruited on time, just everything really, I think. But one of them was really nationals because I was like, I don't know if I'm ready because I was super new. I think I was months in the program. And so Amanda, our coordinator, she said, you guys are going to do great. It was something that we weren't like prepared for, but I think we did good. I'm proud of that.
No, I bet seeing the program at a bigger scale, right?
Yeah.
Definitely changes mentality. That's awesome. Well, Elda, believe it or not, you are not the newest service provider in the room anymore. I'm so sorry. That has shifted. Fun fact for those that are new, we used to play Kahoot, and we will in the future, by the way. So for those that really love Kahoot, we'll continue to do it. But today's a kickoff. We have a little extra things. But Elda on the first service provider network, she won the first Kahoot. It was insane. It was insane. We were like, what? I guess she read the NRGs. I guess she did her homework. So you're no longer the newest member. So what tip, Elda, do you have for those starting off this year?
Definitely ask a lot of questions. I know I probably didn't ask enough questions, but then you always hesitate to ask those questions. So, with your coworkers, with your coordinators, directors, ask those questions, even though they might sound dumb. It's always nice. Make good connections. I hope you have a good team where you're at, and it's always just nice to be connected with them, and whatever you're wondering about, go to them, see how they can help. And obviously Cesar is also there always. Send them a good email, they'll get back to you really quick. So thank you, Cesar, for that. And so yeah, make good connections, and just make great things out of this year, really.
Get 1% better.
Right? Yeah, I am.
Awesome. All right, Elda, any final things you would like to share with the group?
Not really. I'm just happy to be back. I hope I get to meet all of you once we break out in sessions, and just welcome to those who are new to our MEP family. So
sweet. Thank you, Elda. Please give her a virtual or sound or whatever round of applause. We appreciate you taking the stand in front of us in the classroom and sharing a little bit about your experience so far here with the MEP. So there they are. All right, there's a couple people coming in still. So we will, give me a second. We will continue forward with our first ever best practice. And this is going to be a conversation. It's going to be a little lesson that we're going to have from all the way from Omaha, all the way over there on the east side of the state. So Griselda, I made your co-host. You're able to share. I will let her introduce herself and share a little bit more about her project. And then she's going to teach us a few tips on how maybe something that we can apply in our projects. So we'll just give her a second to get that settled. I'll stop sharing.
Good morning, my name is Grisela Salado Gomez. Fun fact, I used to be part of the migrant education program back in 2008 till 2011. Now I work as a migrant service provider in Omaha. I started working for that program back in 2019, working with the pre-K students, helping them learn basic things such as colors and shapes. Later that fall, I started working as a service provider, working with secondary students, still as a contracted, and this year will be my second year as an employee. So I have been in the program for over 3 years. Currently, I have 4 schools, one high school, 3 middle schools, and I have 29 students. I have to drive a lot, but I think I am lucky because I don't have to drive as much as many of you do. That I have to drive for about an hour to get from one student to another. But still, I thought it was it was difficult to manage my schedule to go from one school to another, because I used to have hard copies of all my students' schedules when I went to the schools, plus all the things that I used to carry in my backpack. So it would make it so heavy. That's why I decided to create a schedule that would work best for myself. And this is something that I would like to share with you today. You might or might not use it, but I think it would be it could be of best practice. So I will share my screen so you can see some examples that I have for my schedule. And before I show you or explain the information, there are 5 essential pieces of information to do the schedule. And to create the schedule in total, there are 2 parts. So for the first part, the 5 pieces of information are the school you are going to, the specific times for each period or block on the schedule, the student's full name, and the class and classroom, and the teacher's name. Now, I think it's really important to have the teacher's name that way, instead of just going to the classroom saying, hi or good morning, can I just take out my student, you can say the name, for example, good morning, Mrs. Chambers, is it okay if I take out my student for a few minutes, or can I work with my student in the classroom? That way the teachers know that you acknowledge them. So I think that's why it's really important to have that. So you can take all the information from the student's schedule. You can print it out or just look at it on the computer. But personally, I like to have it like a hard copy. That way I have it like right next to my computer instead of just going like back and forth between the windows on the computer. So like I said, you need 5 pieces of information. The first one, as you can see it here, is the student, I'm sorry, the school I'm going to, which is, in this case, would be South High. For the example, I have the specific times for each blocks, because here in Omaha, this year we started doing blocks. So we have blocks for A day and B day. So that's why I have A1/B1 in that time. And for the next block, I would do the same, but writing A2/B2 and the time, and I would do that on the other blocks as well. And like I said, it's block day, so it would be A day and B day right here, as you can see. And then I have the third piece of information, which would be the student's full name right here. And then below that would be the class and the classroom. And below that would be the teacher's name right there. So I would do that. I basically, for the first part, I have to copy all my students' schedule. So I have the first student here with all the, I'm sorry, let me go back. So that would be the whole information for block 1, for block A1, sorry, and then block A2 right here. And also for B days, I have B1 here and B2 here and so on. Now, as you can see, only 2 students can fit on each block for the page. So basically for each page, there's only 2 students. And I would do that with all my students, as you can see here, all the way until I'm done. And also, after I'm finished with this, I like to have 1 or 2 pages blank. So that way, if I have more students coming in, I already have that template and I just put the information in. Or later, if I need like extra pages, I just do copy and paste and I have it ready. So that will be part 1. Now we have to go to part 2, which would be the actual schedule for my everyday to go to. So basically it's about the same format, but here, as you can see, I have an extra column right here. So that's an extra column, and everything else would be about the same. The school I am going to, the times for each block. Now, if you see, I have A1 only. So A1 in the time, A2 in the time right there, and right to next to the school name on the left side says A day. So that would be the day that I'm going to, because we have blocks. We have A days and B days now. So that's the only thing that changed, that I only put for A day, and the second page would be B days. So I have right next to the school, I have B day and a time that basically is the same time. I just have to change, instead of having A1, I have to put B1 and just leave the time, and then B2 the time, and so on. So like I said, those are the only things that really change in this template for the actual schedule, which is the second part. And now here, I can just go back to the student's schedule, and let's say that I need this student here to see him on A1. So I just do copy, go back to the second part, and I highlight or just put it like paste, and I have it like that. And then I would do that for option 1 only, which would be students that are failing classes or priority for services students. And the second option would be like the other students, or I mean, you can do it whatever the way you want, but that's how I do it. And since this is the beginning of the school year, I just put the priority for services on option 1 and probably option 2. And I like to have at least 2 options, but no more than 3 options. So like you can see, I have option 1, I have everything for each block. And then for option 2, I have just a few students. Now you don't have to fill out each blank. I have like here this extra space for A3 for option 2. And if we go to the B day, I have more extra space. So you don't really have to put a name on each blank. You only have to put it for option 1, if that's what you like to do. So I like to have at least 2 options, just in case, let's say if Osvaldo was not in school. So I just go to, oh, sorry, he haven't repeated. So I just go to Josbrand, which would be my other option. Or if Anna on A2 is not in school and Elias is not in school either, which is A2, I have an extra name, which is this student. So I will go. So I think it saves you time instead of just going through the whole schedule or see if the student is in the school or not. You can just go right straight into the classroom. So so this is basically what I do to create my schedule. Now let me show you how oh, sorry, before I continue with that, if you have like any space in between the classes, or if the student is not in school, you can use that time to meet with the students, which is something that I do. Or if I have a student that I really need to see that day, so I just make a space in between the classes and talk to the student. And if not, I just follow my schedule. So now let me show you, this is what I did this year. Now let me show you what I did last year. This is the whole schedule for my students. Basically, it's the same thing as this here, but on this one, there were more students for each block. But here I only had the student's name, the class and classroom with no teacher's name. And I think it was helpful, it was, but when I had to go to do my actual schedule, I had to make some adjustments to make it fit in this format. And also I had to look up for the teacher's name. So that was like extra time that I had to put into the schedule. So that's why this year I just decided to do it this way. Just, it was like the format that I need to use to create my schedule. So I just do copy and paste, and that's it. I don't have to go back and look for more information. So that's something that I changed this year. And also for last year, I had like the lunch time. So for advisement, I had the student's name, the classroom, the teacher's name, and the lunch time. And this is really helpful because that way, for example, this student had lunch 1, so I knew that I wasn't going to be able to talk to her between 10:40 a.m. to 11:20 a.m. And I think this really helps just to manage like at what time you have to meet with students if you have to do so. And for the actual schedule from last year, if you can see here, I have the student's name, the classroom and teacher as well. Basically the same thing on the other side, and the lunchtime here. And this year, this is something that I didn't do this year because I think it's best just to go into the classroom. And like I said, if I have to talk to a student, I would just make some space in between the vlogs to talk to the students that I have to talk on that day. So basically that's all like the changes I did. I mean, you can use whichever works best for you. But I think this looks like it's way too much information on one page, because even though I bolded the first student here, and the second one I didn't, the third one I did, and the next one I didn't, it looks like there's too much information. And here on the way I did it for part 1, which is this one, there's only 2 students per block. And I think this looks more like clean, or I don't know if that makes sense, what I am trying to say, but I think it's easier. Plus, like I said, I just do copy and paste and put it on the actual schedule. Okay, so basically that would be the whole thing. Let me show you, I will stop sharing now. Let me show you what I had last year. So this is what I had before I created my schedule. I had like all the copies for all my students' schedule. And this was only for one school. So if I had to go to more than one school, I had to get this plus the other schedules. And if I compare this, all that I had for one school to this, which would be this year, so it's only 4 pages, 3.5 pages with the students' information. It's way lighter this than this. So that way, if I just go to more than one school, I can put more things into my backpack or just take a few things, but it won't be as heavy as it used to. So just to recap, there are 2 parts to create the schedule. The first one is to gather all the 5 pieces of information, which would be the school you are going to, the specific times for the schedules for each block or period, the student's full name, the class and classroom, and lastly, the teacher's name. So if you have any questions, or if you would like me to help you create your schedule or start creating your schedule, just let me know and we can set up a time to meet and do so. Thank you.
Well, if you were at the workshop, you got to hear about the services app. Has everybody downloaded it on their phone? Yeah, maybe not really. It's okay if you haven't opened it since then, that's okay. But it's the start, right? It's a start. I see someone showing their phone, that's still black screen, but I can't see anything. Oh, it's loading. Yes, it takes a little bit to load. But yes, if you haven't downloaded the app, it's not really a download. You take a picture of this code, it'll send you to a link, and then you have to save the application on your phone. Androids do it automatically. You click install into my phone. If you have an iPhone, you have to click the square with the little arrow up and then put save to home screen. If you already did it, I just want to let you guys know that this is the place where you can find the service provider directory. This is a place where you can just go in there, click on a person, you can see their strengths. So for example, remember Josh, he's not here, but he talked to us about he's good at cars. So if you have a car issue, you can be like, hey, yo, Josh, so my thing is smoking. What do I do? And he could guide you a little bit, right? If you need someone to help you with some crafts, I heard that over there at 13, Tammy can do some crafts. So maybe that's someone you can reach out to and see some tips and how you can do that. You also have the calendar. So today's meeting is on there. You can even log in directly through the app. It'll send you to Zoom. It'll give you the exit ticket, which we'll talk about right at the end. And you can even get the slides. So everything is on that app that we can possibly try to give you so you can have easy access to it. You also have a list of resources and any kind of update that could possibly come from any service provider from the state. You guys can put an update on there. There's a little form that you can fill out that you can find in the resources portion. It's a Google form. If you want to add a picture, attach a picture to your post, you just email that to me. And it's kind of our professional Facebook wall that's only info that is for you. You do not get notifications. I promise it won't get annoying. It'll just go into the app. So whenever you have a question or you want to look for something, you can go directly to it. We talked about the language line from the Department of Health and Human Services. That information is on the app. We talked about the services handbook. That is on the app. If you ever have issues reaching any of that content, let me know and we'll get that figured out. All the links that I've been talking to you about are on the slides, and I'll send those in an email as a follow-up once I get the recording. If you are starting on the MEP 101 on Canvas, remember you can register for it. That is on the NDE website. There'll be a button that you just click and register on Canvas. It is a 8-unit. You have a pre and a post kind of just training for you to get the general knowledge of the MEP, national, Nebraska. We talk about services. We talk about data and recruiting, very basic info. As you guys know, the 201 services will be coming out here in the next semester. We're hoping to get that together and get help from you as we complete that. So if you started on it, make sure to continue, finish it. You got this. I promise it's as fun as we could make it. One more thing I wanted to share with you guys. One conversation that we had during the workshop was that you guys, and maybe not everybody, so I'm sorry, but you don't have to remember. These times are optional. But we wanted to have more times like these, more opportunities, because we all work different times and we can't always make it every time. And we would love to connect with our colleagues from the state. So I have created a form that will simply ask what day works better and what time works better. And we will be scheduling 2 per month. That these are, remember, these are optional. They are not something you need to come to every time, but we would love to have you. We would love to have you to connect. We'll always have recordings and we'll figure out a way to put them in this hub for you so they can be easily accessible if you ever want to go back and look at anything. So the form is on the slides. I'll be sending out the link. So don't feel stressed right now that you have to be clicking all of these things. I'll send them in a very easy format for you guys. And I've already had the pleasure to meet one-on-one with several of you, and I have even more of you scheduled. It has been great. It has given me even more understanding of how your day-to-day is, how the project where you're at works. If you would be okay with having a one-on-one meeting with me this semester, my goal is to try to get as many of you once every semester. And then we can even schedule a ride-along if you would like to. So far, I have like 3 scheduled and like 2 that are pending to be scheduled. I would love to go out there wherever you're at. Let's try to stay in state, which I think that's the only place we can go anyways. But I would love to go out and see what you guys do, how it goes, what you've been experiencing, go wherever the families are. It is one of the best parts of our work. So please, the link is on the slides and you can schedule it at any time during this semester. It'll let you go into the further months. So if you just want to schedule it now, get out of the way, and then we'll meet later, that would be awesome. I've been having such a great time with it. We do have our exit ticket. Let's not forget about that, please. The exit ticket allows for us to know that this is something you like or something that you don't like. So in order to get off the train that you got on earlier, you have to do the exit ticket. You can do it with your phone, or you can do it with the link that I share with you guys on the chat. And the link will also be on the email that will follow after I get the recording and all of that for you guys. Next month, Elpidia Novoa from ESU9. She's also a new service provider this year, and she will be doing our celebration talk portion. And for best practice, we have returning Alma Becerra. She'll be talking to us a little bit about her networking skills and what areas and what she has learned from her time with us. So be on the lookout for this next month. And I will be announcing the new dates once you guys complete the form to see what times work best. Remember, just please be as clear as you can. I am aware that for some of you, only Fridays is office time, or you guys make it work and sometimes, but please on there, let me know what works better. This is intended to be a benefit for you. So please complete the exit ticket. If you have any questions, my information is on the app that we talked about. So go ahead and click on there and you can let me know anything that you got going on. We are here for you. That is what we do. So with that said, we will conclude our time.